So let's get into the last segment of this podcast. Helloween has released a brand new single off of their upcoming album, Giants and Monsters. The single is called Universe Gravity for Hearts. The album comes out August 29th, so it comes out very soon. And many of you have heard me talk about this song in my review of the brand new Helloween album, which I will put in the show notes. Also in the show notes, I have an interview I just did with one of the guitar players at Helloween, guy I know pretty well, Sasha Gerstner. And Sasha is the one that wrote Universe Gravity for Hearts. Before I get into my thoughts on them releasing this song, let me replay the clip again where Sasha talks about the song itself. Check this out. Universe it sounds like something that could be on Keeper 2. And have a lot of really cool parts in the middle, where Kai is singing. So let's talk about that song first. What'd you write that about? And, what was the process in creating that? Because I'll be honest with you, that's one of the songs I've hit on repeat about, 50 times when I started listening to this.
Oh, well, first off, thank you. It's great to see now that we're doing this interview run, how well people are reflecting on what you had on mind when you were writing the song, because most of the times you have a certain vibe when you do something creatively, but you don't know how people will soak that in and if they would reflect the same feeling, and what I received so far is exactly the things you said, and it's kind of making me happy to see that it worked, because especially Universe was very tough to create, because it really took me a couple of days to connect all the parts and in a demo period, So what I typically would do if I write songs, I would play an instrument. It would be guitar or synthesizer, and I would play around and do some sound design. That's what I basically do just for fun, And then most of the times, at the same time, I start singing. So for me, it's always about the vocals. So vocals are always hero for me. So I start playing around, doing some sound design, and start singing, and then something's just coming up. It could be either be phonetically nonsense, so I would just start to sing something that sounds English but it doesn't make sense, and in that process most of the time there comes some hook up to my mind, and with this song it happened the same way. I was creating this super dystopian clean guitar sound, and I started singing, and I suddenly had that word universe coming in. I don't want to be too esoterical about it, but it was just being something that was coming up, and then it was evolving to what it is now. It was like I woke up the next morning, I was starting recording. I woke up the next morning and I had a pretty good verse, and then I thought okay, I have to continue. I was really into it so much to finish the song. I had a feeling it's something that's gonna be big, and I knew it will be probably a pretty long song, because things started to develop on my mind while I was doing parts. It was okay, and there will be, I want to do this part, and I want to go into another in a breakdown, and so it was really a journey for me, and doing a song like this was just giving birth to an idea, and also lyrical wise. I think what happens now with me in this day and age is that I kind of mature up with my writing. It was always fun for me to write songs, and like you said, I'm 22 or 23 years in a band, and when I joined the band, I was 25 years old, so pretty young by that time. But I was already accepted, and they already wanted to have my song ideas, and it was fun to do that. But I was very naive by that time. I didn't think too much about it, and I also didn't know when it came to lyrics and subjects. In the first on first record we did together, I had a lot of help from Andy, who's a great songwriter. He's what he does is impressive, also over such a career span, lifespan that he has, delivering always high quality songs. And that was really inspiring for me. But I had the appreciation already, but I don't think my songs were as mature as they are now. That's at least how it feels for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you've written some really great tracks. People will still bring up a song like "Listen to the Flies" and some of your other stuff that you wrote early on. I see it in social media comments. I just see people's comments in general, and I think for me, I just like when the two people on this album that really surprised me were you and Kai. Because Kai kind of, if you go and listen to a lot of the Gamma Ray albums, Kai has a pretty distinct songwriting style that's changed. That had changed a little bit since he was out of Helloween, and it just, you guys, both of you, I think the songs you wrote took turns I was not expecting. Okay, so that's Sasha talking about the track. Now, what do I think about them releasing this as a single? Folks, this is like the perfect song they could have released as a single. So, This Is Tokyo was the previous single. Obviously, a more of a hard rock, straight ahead hard rock song. Andy Darris's bread and butter that he's done for a long time. And of course, the reaction was pretty good, but it did elicit a response from naysayers and people that are like, oh my God, where's the epic Helloween stuff? And as I said when I reviewed This Is Tokyo, I said, it's coming. It's on the album. They just released this as a first single. And I told everybody a big reason probably why that happened. You want to pay tribute to one of the most consistent markets that has supported your band. And they always release singles like that. Just how it is. They always have a straight ahead hard rock song as a single. So Universe Gravity for Hearts comes out, which to me is the perfect single they could have put out from this album to follow that up. It is a classic sounding Helloween song. I mean, you don't get any more epic or classic than this record. This song. And it has an outstanding performance from Michael Kiske. It has the old school Helloween vibe to it. But it was not written by Kai or anyone else. Kai Hansen sings in the middle of it, but the song was completely constructed by Sasha. And for those of you that doubt that, I can tell you 100% for certain that he wrote the song. And it goes into something else that I've said. And I have been saying this for quite a while. I think Sasha is an incredible songwriter. I think he's been an incredible asset to this band since he joined. And I remember when he joined. I remember Wyke talking about how much he really liked this guy and how right Sasha was for this band. And now, 22 plus years later, 30 plus songs later, that's what we have. Sasha, again, is an incredible songwriter, in my opinion. He's written some incredible songs in his tenure. He's either written or co-written some incredible songs during his tenure in this band. So him writing Universe, number one, Universe is probably my favorite. Universe and Hand of God, the two songs he wrote for the upcoming album Giants and Monsters, I think are the two best songs he's ever written for this band. And I like a lot of the stuff he's written for this band. Open Your Life, Listen to the Flies, Pleasure Drone, Dreambound, You Stupid Mankind. Who is Mr. Madman? I can go on and on. Hold Me in Your Arms, World of War. There's just so many songs this guy has written that I absolutely love. Wicked Game, which is a B-side from the My God Given Right album. But there's a lot of songs Sasha has written. He wrote Best Time on the last album. So I like a lot of his material and things that he has written over the years. I mean, I think the guy's an incredible player, an incredible guitar player, and an incredible songwriter. So when people, and it's weird because there were a couple comments of people like, I can't believe this guy, he didn't write that. Folks, where have you been? Like I said, this man has written some incredible songs. It did not shock me. In fact, what was weird about it is that when I heard the intro and the opening riffs, I automatically, without even looking at any songwriting credits, I automatically knew the guy wrote this just by his playing style. You know, one of the things that makes Helloween quite an interesting band, especially now, is you have 3 guitar players with 3 very distinct playing styles. And 2 or even 3 vocalists, really, that have completely different singing styles, yet it works. But I think this is a great record. It has everything you want in an epic Helloween-style song. And I just think Sasha just knocked it out of the park. The guy really hit a home run with this song. And I think the band was right to release this as a single. Because it makes sense. You have This Is Tokyo, kind of the more straight-ahead hard rock song. And you have a couple of those on the album. And then you release a very long, epic song. And they pretty much, if you look at the last album, Skyfall, Fear the Fallen, 2 very epic-sounding Helloween songs. And then you had a straight-ahead rock song like Best Time. So it made sense to put those out as singles. So I think the songs they put out as singles for this upcoming album, Giants and Monsters, I think these songs make a lot of sense, and I agree with them putting them out. Having heard the whole album, it makes sense why they put these tracks out. Now, will they have another single coming up? I don't know. With them, it's a little bit interesting because they may usually put out 2 songs and then put the album out, then do another single to promote it. I think that's what they did with the self-titled album. And that may happen. But, you know, there's a couple other songs that would make great singles for them. And they may be a single down the road after the album comes out. Again, you want to keep that name out there. So it would make sense. Personally, for me, if I'm a band, I'm going to put a couple songs out, let the album come out, and then I'll put another single or 2 out to promote it. And that's probably most likely what may happen. Who knows? Nevertheless, I don't think they could have put out a more perfect song as a single. Hey everybody, Tony here from the Metal Command podcast. Again, I appreciate your support. Since 1998, I have hosted this show in one form or another, starting off in radio and now in the podcast format. Again, thanks for watching, and if you like what you see and hear on this show, by all means, please hit the subscribe button, hit the little bell to be notified anytime I do post a video, and if you see this program on any other form of social media, please give me a follow there. Again, I always appreciate your support.